Hi, this is Charlie Bros. I'm the host of Adapted Sports Focus. Welcome. Thank you for joining us this week. Today I have a couple friends with me. This is Poppy Sundquist and Kara Cardong. They're here to talk with us today about U.S. Soo Bahk. Am I saying that correctly, ladies?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay. First off, what is Soo Bahk? What is the origin, what is it all about?
Soo Bahk is a Korean martial arts that originated in Korea from the founder Hwang-ki Sabanim, and after he passed, his son H.C. what's his last name?
H.C. Wong.
H.C. Wong took over, and it's one of the biggest predominant martial arts in the United States, along with Korea itself too.
Yeah, and when you say martial arts, a lot of people think about self-defense, but this isn't really about self-defense.
It is about self-defense, but it's not just about the martial or the fighting part of it. It's about knowing the history, the philosophy. So it's very scholarly. So it's kind of like a scholar warrior. You're not just doing the fighting part of that or the movement aspects. You're using your mind to learn, to grow, to develop yourself. And it's more than just moving, doing techniques. It becomes a part of your life.
Okay. And how does that affect your life? You say it affects your life. In what manner? How does it manifest itself?
It manifests, at least for me, and I can only speak for me, how I think about things, how I approach things, even for myself throughout my day. It helps me as an adult be a much more focused, calm person, whereas in more of my youthful time where I'd be more active to be reactive versus thinking about what my actions may cause or what can I do to de-escalate a problem, where instead of just being upset or angry.
Okay. And Tara, you have the same type of experience then with it?
Yes, it helps for me, in my experience, it has helped to be able to pinpoint a situation and to try and de-escalate it before it escalates to the point of actual physical contact.
Okay. So it tells you how to calm a situation then? Is that what you're looking at? It just kind of...
To calm a situation or to see what a potential situation could be happening,
okay,
and to pretty much back away from it, because they say our instructor, Ridlan Sabanim, he says the first rule of self-defense is to not be there.
Okay. Okay.
But if you happen to be there, because sometimes there is no choice, is to find a way to get out of the situation as quick as possible, okay, without causing any harm.
And so in your practice of Soo Bahk, in your everyday life, you've then had to use this? I mean, have you?
For myself, yes.
Okay, so you found yourself in a situation, yes, where the teachings have, yep, helped you out.
Exactly. And like Tara was mentioning, sometimes it's just if you know that, a certain street in your neighborhood gets kind of, ruckusy or loud, or there's a lot of maybe, unpleasant activity that happens later in the evening, do you really need to go down that street, or do you really need to go to what you're doing at that time or that hour? And also just knowing if you see people where they just may not look very well on one side of the street and the other side seems empty and nobody's there, take that avenue instead. So it's also being aware of your surroundings, okay, and being aware of what your capabilities are as a person or a martial artist, and knowing that if there's a way for you to either just take a different direction and there's not going to be issues there because the people aren't there, or that a particular group of people who like to be recklessly loud or cause problems, go down a different street, because then if you're not there, there's not going to be a problem. So why put yourself in the position of being in that position of, oh, shoot, now I have to put my training forth, you know.
So it's become a philosophy then for
It's
you.
very much a philosophy.
On top of
And
the
it's
physical training that you
it's
incur.
definitely a practice, and and at least for me, it's in everything that I do.
Okay.
It's in speaking, it's in living, it's in how I want to live my life. What do I want in my life? What do I not want in my life?
And what got you involved in this? How did you want to be involved in doing the Soo Bahk or in the martial arts in general?
Well, what got me started for martial arts is I've always been very physically active, but also I wanted something that could give me more roots of my Korean culture. As I was adopted in a Caucasian family, I wanted something that would root me to know the history of my country that I was born from, and to know something more of me, of who I am as a Korean American person.
Okay.
And I also wanted something that where it was acceptable for someone who did have limitations, because I was very aware early on, speaking to other people as I was kind of researching what direction I would go to for martial arts. Did I want to do Taekwondo? Did I want to do other forms? I kind of kept hearing that there is a possibility that you could be turned away because of your disability. Okay. And I wanted something that would either not look at it as a disability and look at it as a way to find something interesting and challenging, to find another way to do things. Okay. And I happened to be at Courage Center visiting some friends, and I heard some noises in the Courage Center gym and peeked in my head, and I'm like, oh, martial arts. This is exciting. This is what I was looking for. And then I got really excited after the first time I just kind of peeked in, and I kind of said, oh, I'll come back next week and talk. I was kind of not sure. I was still a little scared. So I came the following Saturday, and then I actually talked to the instructors, and then it really got me really excited and really just ready to do it pretty much right from the minute I walked in the door again, because I found out it was a Korean martial arts.
Oh, okay.
And the fact that I was seeing other individuals from ranges of 6 to 60 that had various levels of disabilities, either stroke, spina bifida, cerebral palsy, combination of several disabilities.
And we'll touch on that in a couple moments. And Tara, how about you? How did your involvement come
I
about?
was looking for something to keep me active.
Okay.
There's not a whole lot for people with disabilities up in the St. Cloud area for any type of sports or anything. And I happened to be in a local art studio, and I saw a flyer for it, which at the time, it happened to be the wife of our instructor, Sabanim Redlawn.
All right.
And he happened to be there that day, and I got talking with him, and he's like, oh yeah, we can work with you, whatever your ability level is. And
okay. And that's become really important with you in this. I mean, obviously, because of your disabilities, the range of motion or whatever is involved isn't quite the same as someone with an able-bodied person doing this type of discipline. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they work with you then to determine your level of skill and what you're able to do then?
Well, what they look at is your range of motion. You know, some people, you get a person, say, with cerebral palsy, their range of motion can vary from person to person, obviously, just like with every disability. Mm-hmm. But they look at, see what you can do. Now, some people are able to move their arms straight. Some people, their arms can only be bent and couldn't move them around circles. So what Ridlan Samanim does, and the other instructors, is they look at what you're able to do and to find a way that's best to adapt the movement to what you're able to do. Okay. For like an example, we've had some people with spina bifida, paralyzed. They can't do the kicks. So instead of kicks, they would incorporate something like either a punch or a headbutt.
Okay.
for depending upon what the
So it-
particular leg technique is that is required.
Okay, so a substitution of the movement that would be normally called for.
Correct.
Yes.
But it's a substitution that has the same or similar linear movement or whatever kind of
Or application.
either linear or rotary or whatever. So it's a very similar. They want something that has the same movement as a kick.
And it's the same impact, you would
Yes.
say?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And has this in practice increased your strength, helped your mobility in your everyday life? And I mean, does the practice of the Soo Bahk Do, the movements, so forth, and forgive me, I'll never get them right. So
That's all right.
does it help in your everyday life, in your strength, and how you get around?
Yes,
Definitely.
absolutely.
Yeah, my doctor would, if I wasn't in martial arts, they would have me in constant physical therapy
Okay.
to just try and maintain what my muscle level and strength is.
Sure.
And because I've got, it's just, I'm a weird one. Even in the world of disabilities, I'm a weird one.
Okay.
But because of the martial arts, I've been able to keep my strength where I should have probably lost my walking ability years ago.
Okay.
I'm still able to walk a little bit, and that does help me to maintain my balance.
Okay. And I know wheelchair users like you and I, shoulders become a big issue. And do the movements, do they help keep you strengthened in that manner, or?
It's kind of hard for me to say because my shoulders are bad.
Yeah. Well,
And it's just due to the complication of my really complicated
sure.
life.
Yeah.
But yeah, you learn kind of how to move,
Okay.
and then I
Right.
can't obviously always get my arm up. So it's like if we're supposed to go up like this, I can't sit there and hold it like everybody, so mine goes down.
Sure. But
But at times, if I'm working at it hard enough, I can keep my arm up in a nice
you
strong
can-
high block.
Okay. And so it does help in your motion. It helps with the range of motion, that type of thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It helps with strengthening. It can help with flexibility. For my case, it helps with strength, but it also helps with balance and really knowing what your body does and how to do it the most efficient way where you're using less energy, less time. Instead of taking 6 steps, I can apply just the training I've had and just years of knowing where I can, if I move this way, if I move my hip to the right or to the left, then it can help me reach or turn instead of having to struggle, whereas I might have more like some stutter steps where it's not as fluid. And of course that takes time and energy, and then when you're busy throughout your day doing whatever you have to do, knowing how to move where you're not having to exert as much energy, it can save you so you have energy to do other things later.
Okay. And when did the martial arts start in general?
The program for Courage Center started in, let's see if I can remember, it started in 1992, 1993,
Okay.
and I am currently the only original member left. But we have lots of new members that have joined.
And when it comes to that, how many persons come out on in general week to come out and
General
participate?
week, it's between the most small that we've ever had is 5,
Okay.
and then the largest that we've ever had is up to 15.
Okay. And Tara, you've been involved with this for a number of years.
Yes.
And so obviously you feel something is good with it that you keep coming back.
Yep.
And is it the practice? Is it the people? What?
I've got actually quite a few friends
Okay.
in the program. You get to have a little fun with some of your, what do we want to call it, training mates, teammates.
Teammates, training mates.
Okay.
I feel that you become a family.
All right. That's good. It's important. The social aspect that I find in many of the discussions I've had with people seems to be a larger part of being involved in programs like this.
Yes.
And so it's beneficial in both the exercise, the philosophy and the social aspect.
Yes.
And I find that important. And you've been at it for 20 plus years.
Yeah, 24 to be exact.
And so you've seen people come and go through the program, but you remain connected with a lot of those people then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not connected with everyone that has passed through those avenue doors, and they have left for various reasons. But I am connected to a good majority of them.
Okay. And why did the program start?
The program started because the initial first instructor, which was Joe Weinbeck and his daughter, Tony Joe Weinbeck Sabanim, and Tony Joe Weinbeck Sabanim, and Vinnie Howard Sabanim, were interested and approached Kurd Center at the time, which is now Courage Kenny Institute. They approached Kurd Center and wanted to start a program to show people with disabilities that they could do martial arts, but also see how it could help their daily life for just any kind of improvement. But their main intention was to show that people with disabilities could do martial arts.
Okay. So, and with the martial arts, you've been involved a long time. You come down from St. Cloud, and so that must mean something to you to be able to make that journey on a weekly basis to be involved in this.
We actually, the same instructor, Ridlan Samanim, is actually from St. Cloud. So he does have a class of a few of us up in the St. Cloud area.
Okay, so you get to...
So I get to train up to St. Cloud because I can't, my work schedule doesn't allow me to come down on
Right.
Saturdays.
Okay.
She does come down when she can, which is very sporadic, but we enjoy having her here in the Twin Cities when
I
we can.
appreciate making the journey today to be with us. I like that. And with martial arts, there's always, the level of belts. Is that true in the Soo Bahk Do as well?
Yes.
And so what level are you at?
Well, I've been sitting on the same belt for many, many years.
Okay. But
And I'm considered a 7th cup or an orange belt with stripe.
Okay. But you're comfortable with that, and it's...
Yeah, there's been some challenges that, we don't necessarily look at testing all the time to see what the knowledge is, because, if we went by my knowledge, I might be a little 1 or 2 belts higher.
Okay.
But we look at it as, what you're able to do.
Okay.
And, the belt, it just shows rank, but it's more of the knowledge that's gained is what I find more rewarding with the martial arts than the belt.
Okay. And what about you, Polly?
I'm currently a 1st cup, which is a red belt with 2 stripes, which is the last ranking color before your black belt, which in our organization we use midnight blue because we feel that your learning of the martial art doesn't end, and black can signify in many cultures in martial arts styles or systems is death or end. And since we feel that you never stop learning, we use midnight blue, but it's still considered a black belt.
Okay. And you mentioned the knowledge. What does that entail?
Not only do you learn your techniques, but you learn the origin behind the techniques, why you do a technique a certain way, body mechanics, philosophy behind it. There are sets of forms that are done, and each form kind of tells a story. So you kind of learn about the story of the forms, and the applications. Some have what we call fast moves, some have slower moves, and there's different applications, and you need to know, okay, what is appropriate for a slow move, what's appropriate for a fast move, when's appropriate time to use it, when's not. And then even the history of the culture, of the Korean culture, and of the founder and the Mudokwan, the values and the traditions that they teach.
Okay, so, and how it applies to what you're doing. Okay.
Yes.
And do you interpret it the same way, Poppy, the knowledge that you're...
I agree. I like the fact that, again, like I said earlier, it's not just the physical techniques where some systems don't emphasize the knowledge of the history as much. Ours is where it's important to know your history along with your physical techniques.
Okay. Okay. We've got a few minutes left, and I'd like to see if Poppy, you would be able to, or even Tara, if you'd like to give us a little demonstration.
Sure.
Is that possible?
Absolutely.
And now, our friends, Poppy and Tara, are going to give us a little demonstration of the Soo Bahk dough. I hope you enjoy it. Ladies?
Thank you.
Where do you want me? Just
Just go right next to me, be awesome.
yes, ma'am.
We're going to do some just basic techniques that we do for beginning our training process, which will be a low block, punch, and then a high block. Ready? Try it. Kunye. Sita. Low block. Punch. Punch. High block. And then we'll step back and go backwards. Backwards into low block. Backwards into low block. Backwards into punch. Punch. Alright, we'll show aspects of what it looks like when we fight or sparring. Turn here, we'll move forward, and be very slow. Try it. Down. Fighting position. So here in our techniques that we always make sure that there's proper distance. We never want to be too far away or too close. And Tara and I have worked with each other for many, many years, so good or bad, we always know what we're going to do. All right, punch, punch, nice. She snuck in a kick where I wasn't looking. Very, very nice. Nice. You're the teacher here, it's not fair. Nice. Cheater. Sarah, you're the senior. Bro. Nice job.
Yeah. Thank
I feel like I should have broken that up at one point, but thank you very much
You're
for the
welcome.
demonstration, and we'll come back just a second and wrap this up. All right. That was quite the demonstration. I really appreciate it, ladies.
You're welcome.
Again, I thought I was going to have to step in and break it up because it was getting pretty spirited out there, but it really gives a feel for what you guys are doing, and it was actually fun to watch.
Good, I'm glad you enjoyed.
I thought I was watching an episode of Street Fighter, so.
Yeah, slow version. It's usually a little bit faster, but you know, confined space.
But
and safety.
Yes, and
Yeah.
safety.
You know, come on, if you get contact with a shoe or a fist to your face, it hurts.
I believe it. I
Yeah.
believe it. And I think you guys gave a real feel for what people would do if they got involved. And speaking of such, how would they get involved? Is there someone they can contact?
Yes, they can contact me for our program here in the Twin Cities here for St. Paul and Minneapolis area. They can contact me, and I
Okay.
can give you that information.
Okay. Just your general email address then?
General email, yeah.
Okay. Yes, well, we'll be sure that that is put up there for our audience. I really want to thank you guys. I mean, you made quite the drive to be here, and it sounds like a challenging drive nonetheless. But it's very exciting.
You're
to,
so welcome.
To watch what you did, the movements. I'll be honest. I'd probably pull something doing what you guys did. So,
That's why we start people at slower, more beginners levels to get them used to, and then you work up to some of the techniques that we were doing, especially in the sparring.
Okay. And it looked like you guys. Well, you've been doing this quite a few years with each other. And
Yes.
You
Yes.
We know each other's movements.
We're seasoned. We're seasoned players, so to speak. So.
Okay. And so you know where your strengths are and your weaknesses and.
Yes.
Oh, we know
Good
each
or bad.
other's.
That's good or bad. Usually bad for me. She usually wins.
Hey, I'd say it's probably about 50-50.
Yeah, but
We get our fights when we're like in tournament or something, and we're doing our point sparring.
Okay.
We're usually pretty close.
Okay. And explain that. I mean, you just brought that up in the sparring. I saw you guys, throwing punches and kicks. How do you get points for those?
they're based on the location of the body, which is your head, torso, and kind of abdomen
And
area.
about
Okay.
here up
All right.
and to kind
Yeah.
of about the sides.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically nothing past like the ear point.
Okay.
That wouldn't be considered a point. That'd be considered illegal.
Okay,
or
so
not qualifying point.
Penalty, basically,
Yeah.
perhaps. Okay.
Well, you don't get it penalized, but
But
you won't get a point for it
okay.
either.
And so it's landing a blow or.
It's about getting as close as possible of technique, but without touching the person.
Okay.
Like
Whereas in Taekwondo, it's about actual contact.
Actual physical contact. Okay.
This is more about, it's easier, so to speak, to hit someone. It's harder to not hit someone
Okay.
and still be extremely close.
and
Okay.
it shows your control. It's like, and as you progress through the ranks, like say a white belt, if white belts you can be this far, but as you get
Yep.
higher up in the
For
rank,
my rank, it's basically,
Really close.
inches from the face.
So you want to be,
Yes.
millimeters away.
Yes.
Pretty much. Okay.
Yeah,
And-
that's the intent. However, because we talked about people with disabilities, it varies. For some people, because of their movement is limited, just a subtle movement, if I don't block, for example, that's considered a point.
Okay.
So this slight movement for some is considered a full extension punch
Okay. And
for myself.
the blocking function, do you get a point for that then, or only for the
It's
lands?
based on one technique is considered 1 point. If you do a block and a strike together, then it's considered 2.
Oh, okay. Okay.
and there are certain techniques that are more advanced,
Double technique, so both hands.
or like a certain kick, like the Pete Shaggy. That's kind of where my kick kind of went that way a little bit.
Okay,
Mine's
okay.
not the perfect. I've got my leg braces on, so I can't get the movement.
All right.
But that's a higher ranked technique, like around Poppy's level.
So kind of a side kick, if you will. Then.
Well,
Yes.
or a reverse roundhouse, because a roundhouse will come out and go around.
okay, and you're
and
going
this one goes
the opposite
out.
direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that one's a higher level, very hard to do.
Well,
Very hard.
I have learned a lot today about Soo Bahk Do, and I really appreciate you guys joining me. And
Thank you.
again, this is Poppy Sundquist and Tara Kadong, and check them out because I think you guys have fun if you thought about getting involved as well. And once again, my name is Charlie Brose. I want to thank you for joining us for Adapted Sports Focus.